present play on another Pay Me No Mind. Damn, sports and entertainment live stream. My name is Wood. Uh, please hit that like button if you dig the way any information is being presented, broken down, discussed, previewed, reviewed, analyzed, recap, so on and so forth. Also, if you dig any of the content, become a subscriber to the channel. If you want to stay up to date on, when I do go live, you can always hit that bell icon. That's the best way to do that. I thought I was gonna get a piece of gear in like yesterday that would allow me to live stream the way I was trying to get together. I was trying to do some upgrading over this past week, but the piece of gear didn't arrive. But I'm gonna get ready to get into the bite down performer of the week. It's a couple of people, a couple fighters that are up for consideration. But for those of you that are well-rounded sports fans, I would have to say a hell of a bite down performer was and I hate to say it, I really do, but Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields. If you saw the semifinal the other night, and the kid he got cracked pretty good there again late in the second half. I mean, late in the second quarter by Clemson linebacker James Skowski. Could have changed the entire game around. Skowski was ejected for targeting, and Fields had to leave the field after being injured. Got hit in his lower right side, on his hip, high on his hip, and looked bad for him. But the kid was out for like a play, and then waved at the backup for him to come on off of here. Let me get back in there. I think threw a touchdown pass when he came back in a couple of plays later, and then they made it into halftime. Goes in there. Who knew if he was going to make it out to play in the second half or not? But he comes back out, finishes the game. Ohio State wins 49-28. He throws for 6 touchdowns. Kind of thinking long term, as I'm going to also mention here with my bite down performer of the week in the boxing world. Thinking long term, it also kind of reestablishes Fields as do you take a Justin Fields or do you take a Trevor Lawrence first in the NFL draft? Now, I would imagine that Trevor Lawrence is going to go before Justin Fields, but this is one of those situations, and I'm not trying to get too far away from boxing, but this is one of those situations where if I'm the second team, needing a quarterback and going to draft a quarterback, it kind of takes the pressure off of you. Like, I don't have to hit with my pick. This is the guy who was there for us. Somebody else, took the first guy. I get the second guy, and you can just be happy with it. That first team might have to weigh some pros and cons on going with Trevor Lawrence over Justin Fields and whatnot. So, and then in all honesty, I got to get a Buckeyes bite down performers of the week coming in, being disrespected by Dabo Swinney, and they went out, shouldn't have been there in all likelihood in a way, but actually the NCAA or college football did some boxing stuff with the sanctioning bodies. And they changed up the rules to allow the Buckeyes to move into the Big Ten championship game. And then, they make it here. And then when you're somewhere where you probably shouldn't be or arguably shouldn't be, what do? You go in there and win the game and prove that you should have been there all along. So I would make, all of them, Justin Fields and the Buckeyes, bite down performers of the week. But getting off of the gridiron and moving over here to the ring and boxing, I really don't want to hate on Ryan Garcia. I know last night, my reaction after the fight, I was a little disappointed in the effort level that I saw from Luke Campbell. I kind of didn't understand why after you hurt the kid, you don't try to win the fight, why you don't win the fight. I understand that when a fighter is hurt, they could be most dangerous, and you could, you do it cautiously, or It's a judgment that fighters make as they're in the moment. But again, you got a young 22-year-old kid hurt, a lot of time left in the round, and you're damn near a 3-strike. You're on your 3rd strike. You lose this fight, you take a major step back. You're in a foreign country. We already don't respect UK fighters, and to just sit here and try to box it out, you allow the kid to recover, and then you come out in the next. You come out in the. I don't know. I just but anyway, I take nothing against away from Ryan Garcia because he took those punches. He got hit with some good shots, over the first half of the 7 rounds, and he came back and he did his thing. So on a big scale, and knowing what's on the line for Ryan Garcia and the lightweight division, and the potential fights that we want to see, whether it be Gervonta Davis, whether it's Devin Haney, which he becomes a mandatory or whatever with winning the interim WBC title, whether it's Teofimo Lopez, and boxing. Boxing is a niche sport that needs its superstars. So if you have a kid out here, he speaks English, good-looking kid, has his ties to the Mexican, to Mexico, Mexican community, however you want to look at it. If they would fully embrace him the way that they've embraced others, it's all good for boxing. But again, if I look ahead and I match the kid up against the others that I just mentioned, that performance right there really doesn't do a lot for me in giving him a shot to defeat any of those guys. I think he has quite a bit more, grooming and development, that needs to take place. And honestly, I think that some of his deficiencies are just gonna always be there. And but he's ambitious. He wants to fight one or two of those guys, and we'll see what happens moving forward. Now, for me and what I'm looking for, because I think a lot of us got to come to the realization and continue to maybe expand our horizons and how we follow the sport, or you just move on, go watch something else. But I think and why I'm getting ready to talk about these other guys is because I think for a lot of us that just love boxing, you might have to quit messing around with these fights that can't get made. Whether it's money, politics, a combination of both, whether it's network partner, streaming partner, the sanctioning bodies, all of that stuff is going to continue to hinder the best fights being made, the big fights being made. We also know boxing has to find its way out of this, like the rest of the world, has to find its way out of this pandemic situation, because a lot of these good fights really cannot seriously be made right now, or can't be seriously explored right now without fans being able to attend fights to make it work for everybody. So understand that. But beyond that, with the better fights not likely to not be made, at least in the first half of 2021, probably even late, it might be one or two that come together because they're that popular. But a lot of these other fights that we want to see, they're just not going to happen. So what do? Like I said, you either move on and find something that's more a sport that's more respectful of your time and your interest and your enthusiasm towards it. You go follow some sports that can deliver, or you move on to other interests in life. The other option, which is what I'm gradually warming up to, is you got to rock with some of these lower divisions, man. A lot of the, and I know we seem to be, some people aren't happy with boxing and the state of the game unless it's the heavyweights. And I haven't been like that in like 15, 17 years. But the action down here with some of these lower divisions, these lighter weight divisions, that's where the action is in boxing. That's where these guys, the big names, relatively speaking, that's where they fight each other. So my bite down performer of the week, away from the politics and big time boxing, I got to go with this cat Roger Gutierrez last night, who defeated Rene Alvarado to pick up the WBA lightweight, the regular version of the title. they went waffle back and forth on that last night with the actually I'm sorry, the 130-pound title. But they went back and forth with that last night on, is this a world title? Is this not a world title? Gervonta Davis actually has the super version or whatever. So I don't know how you look at all of that, whatever. But Roger Gutierrez to come back and defeat Rene Alvarado, knock him down 3 times. This was a guy who knocked him out in July of 2017, beat the brakes off of him back then. And for Gutierrez to come back, face a guy who took it to you like that, drop him in the second round, twice in the second round, and really put on a pretty entertaining fight. And like I said, if I'm gonna continue to be passionate about boxing and finding value in watching and tuning in week to week, paying these subscriptions and so on and so forth, I'm gonna have to get familiar with a lot of guys who I didn't know existed 3 years ago. Even though I've been writing about boxing since mid 2016, it's a lot of cats that I haven't really spent a lot of time focusing on, and that's just where I am in the last 7 to 8 months. I'm starting to become more and more a fan of these other divisions in boxing, and from like featherweight down, it's a lot of great action there. Also, I didn't get to check out the Kazuto Ioka fight with him stopping Tanaka over like the 7th round over in Japan and whatnot. But that's at super flyweight. Creates a situation where this cat, I'd like to see him against the winner of the rematch of 2 other small guys in March 13th when we see the part 2 between what's up, Sheldon Holmes? What up, though? When we see part 2 of Chocolatito and Estrada. Again, I gotta watch who wants to fight. I gotta watch the talented guys that will actually lace them up and get in there and fight. That's just, I love boxing. I love I love the sweet science. I'm not gonna sit here and worry about 2 and 3 guys who don't want to fight each other or who can't. The business won't allow them to go ahead and fight each other. I gotta rock with what I'm given, and that's what I'm gonna choose to do. And like I said, this Ioka kid to stop Tanaka the way that he did, that's an excellent fight, and I see it being able to get done. I see the people, the promoters or whatever. I see them working that out to make that happen once we get the winner between the rematch and Juan Francisco Estrada, who's a pound for pound guy, maybe top 7, top 5, maybe how you want to look at it, and then Chocolatito, who by the way, Chocolatito didn't get a lot of consideration for Fighter of the Year, but to come back and beat the brakes off of Yafai back in February down in Texas, and then to come back and beat up Israel Gonzalez, what was that, in November or October, and to be a guy who many had written off and thought his career was over and whatnot. I don't know how the guy didn't get more consideration for Fighter of the Year. But again, we look at the heavyweight with Tyson Fury. We look at what Teofimo Lopez did. Only fought 1 time this year. Both of those guys only fought 1 time this year. We look at Errol Spence Jr. coming back and taking apart Danny Garcia. Whatever. Do what you got to do. But Chocolatito had a hell of a 2020. Also, along with Roger Gutierrez, another bite down performer, Rene Alvarado's brother, Felix Alvarado, who fought last night, took apart DJ Krill. Bite down performer. I mean, that dude looked like a savage out there. Again, I was nicknaming him Apocalypto based on the haircut and whatnot, but he was the IBF light super flyweight. No, you get down in them divisions. I don't even know the weights and the names of the divisions like I know the others. But he's the IBF champion at light flyweight. And I think that'd be a hell of a matchup with him and Elwin Soto. I think that's a great clash of styles. Alvarado, though, to see him work the way that he did, to see the energy, good power, And again, man, to see these dudes, these smaller guys, when you don't have the luxury of fans supporting whatever you do and rocking with you regardless of what the performance is, regardless of what fight you won't make, uh, and just totally disregarding how we follow you. When these guys got to go out here and really over deliver just to get a fraction of the adulation and the praise and whatnot. You see a dude like Felix Alvarado go out here and look like a damn savage and beat the hell out of a DJ Krill. And Krill wasn't really bad. He just wanted to box. He was a little slower, not enough power, but he was a guy coming up from a division below. But I was impressed with Alvarado. And like I said, want to see more of him. It's kind of unfortunate his brother didn't get the victory, but his brother fought his ass off. He just, was in there with the guy that had his number last night. But yeah, if they go back and make Felix Alvarado and Elwin Soto, that'd be a hell of a fight. Those two guys. What else? What else before I jump on off of here? I didn't see they didn't show the Tristan Calcruth fight last night with him at cruiserweight, but I saw he got a first round knockout, so he must not have been matched too tough. Calcruth is, it's not a lot of names at cruiserweight right now, but what the kid is like 19 years old or whatever, so it's very interesting to see how they'll move him. And, is he a guy that can move up to heavyweight at some point? Does he try to take advantage of getting involved with that Bridgerweight title? Again, though, a lot of time left for Calcruth to develop and see what he is, but it's just I'm kind of keeping an eye on him because, like, again, we don't really recognize or follow the cruiserweight division, and for him to be a young talent there in that division, 5 or 6 wins, maybe 7 wins, where does he go with his career? How does he become a bigger deal in a division that's pretty dead right now? It is some Russell, Stevenson, Garcia, Devin Haney, Davis, Haney, all need to figure it out. Pick one, get it done. Yeah, man. Gary Smith. Yeah, I mean that's the reality of the situation, but I don't really see much movement this year. Definitely not before June or July. I don't see anything happening. Anything. And then with that, while we're sitting around waiting for them to do what we think they should do and what we would like them to do most, like, what is the contingency plan? What is the backup opponent that we would even want to see? Yeah, maybe we can't get Haney and Teofimo Lopez to sort out that whole, why they can continue to argue about undisputed lightweight champion versus unified lightweight champion, and then whatever you look at Devin Haney as, why they continue to pop up on YouTube about that. What opponent do they get? Does Eddie Hearn get for Devin Haney? This kid over there wasting time. Who can you put him in there with that gives us some idea of what the dude is? And that's why I said, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Luke Campbell's performance last night, by Ryan Garcia getting the stoppage and getting up off the canvas and what, is no one to see unless it's each other at this point. I mean, I can't argue with that, but they got to have a backup. I mean, they got to have a backup plan or whatever the actual plan is going to be. I mean, they got to. I get what you're saying, and for the most part, I agree. But with that not happening, like what else are you gonna do? I mean, they got to do something. They got to put somebody on the schedule. They got to go fight somebody. And I think Devin Haney has like one more fight, but it needs to be against a guy like a Fortuna or maybe a Lenara. It's got to be somebody who's already been a champion or something. I think he has one more fight. Keeping in mind that we are still in this pandemic situation where it's difficult to make fights right now. We've lost some fights because of positive tests and whatnot. I think he kind of has one more fight. Teofimo Lopez I would agree, is sitting in the winner's circle. He has the the mandatory out there with Cambosos Jr. and whatnot. They could go to Australia and do that. Maybe there's some more build towards a rematch with Lomachenko if they want to go that route. But he's already sitting in the winner's circle. Gervonta Davis, like, again, this is one thing that pisses me off with the PBC and Mayweather Promotions. I don't care who you like. I don't care what organization you support or what network you support. In my opinion, and what I want to see from my champions, or just, if they're putting you out here as the face of boxing, you're a pay-per-view guy. What's your level of ambition? What kind of show are you trying to deliver for fans? So for the PBC play, especially the Mayweather play, is to just sit back and allow the internet has made these guys think exactly with little to no work whatsoever. But the PBC, especially when and Mayweather, that's like you just said, Mayweather could do this. Mayweather could sit back and just as an opponent materializes, then you go fight. But he had already done so much before he got to fight, 40 when he could do that. Here with Tank getting, you put Leo Santa Cruz to sleep, who we all knew that was gonna happen. Okay, bro, what do you want to do next? Like, what? You can't tell me that there's no challenge out here to say, I want to get a fan something to talk about. Like, don't give me some opponent that you go, some cat from Nicaragua or Colombia or Venezuela or something who I've never seen before. It's 2 or 3 names to look at and say it's time for me to make a truly, a truly great event. That hasn't happened to this point. Like I said, I can't continue to pay you $75 to fight dudes. That's it. It's only it's a very short list. And honestly, I don't even know why. I know they don't want to go. Lomachenko coming off of a loss. I know that's not. It doesn't have the same, shine on it. The same magnitude associated with that now coming off of the loss. But damn, if it puts you in a better situation leverage-wise to get the fight done, then get the fight done. But don't, like I said, don't come out here and fight somebody that we don't want to see. You got to give us something. If we paid for your last couple of pay-per-views, well, we got the short end of the stick a little bit, throw us a bone and give us something. I'm getting ready to get on off here. Like I said, I just really wanted to talk about my bite down performer this weekend or this week. I was going to try to be more consistent with it. Like I said, big picture, I guess I'd have to go Ryan Garcia for not, taking a major step back. I do think the other guys saw what they wanted to see and what they needed to see, that Ryan is a talented cat and has some decent tools, but he's a level below the other guys, in my opinion. Again, though, I'll give Garcia the benefit of the doubt that he's going to continue to work and be a professional and work on his preparation and look to improve. Like I said, when you're working next to a guy that makes $30 million a fight in Canelo Alvarez, and you see why he shows up every day at the gym, and here you are, still haven't climbed to the top of the mountain in your division, it's very easy to look over and see, I got to continue to do the work. I got to put the work in. But I just think with what I saw last night, some of his deficiencies, like, that's who he is as a fighter. And I don't see much of that getting changed, to be honest with you. I really don't. And he could be a lot worse. You can have a lot worse. Reminds me of a young Khan, a lot of flash, but that shit may be a problem. Exactly. And it's not Gary Smith, it's not even the chin alone. It's It's his understanding of how to even protect that chin. Like if you do have chin issues, you got to manage your range better. Uh, you got if you do have some height on the rest of the division, fight tall. But the way the head doesn't move a lot, flat-footed a lot, hands low, um, really isn't exceptional coming forward. He's a lot better with guys coming to him. Um, you saw last night when Luke Campbell wouldn't come to him, he was waiting a little bit, and then when he was kind of forced to take the lead, I just see a lot of openings that get created when he goes to engage. And like you just said, I see some dudes taking advantage of that. Guys who box more, and who defense was very suspect. Yeah, that's what I saw, man. I mean, and that's crazy to me. Like, say we talking about basketball. There's only one way to score a bucket in basketball. So a dude, if he's not coming, I mean, if he's not hitting from long range, he's got to drive to the bucket to score. You know what to defend. Football is a 50-yard wide, goal line. You can score all along that. It's a lot more to protect. Here with him, and I done forgot my damn point thinking of that. But, damn, what you just say, Gary? Faster, quicker, stronger fighter. Yeah, that's what I was going to. Boxing is very simple. Like, you have to have your hands up. I don't know how these cats go through training camp after training camp, the amateurs and all of that. The way that you get hurt in boxing is for you to have your hands low. And for him to sit in front of guys with his hands low, the way that he does, I mean, that's just a recipe for disaster. And like you just said, somebody that's more aggressive, somebody that's quicker, somebody with better power, it's gonna be a rough night for you. And I don't know how Reynoso, how you break somebody of that habit. And guys have it though, because I remember a long time ago, not a long time ago, but I remember hearing a story about Lennox Lewis, and Lennox Lewis was complaining that a lot of his fights, even though he was winning and whatnot, he was complaining that his nose was getting busted or his lip was getting busted. And he, I don't understand why he didn't understand this, but he said he didn't know why his damn lip kept getting busted in the manner that it did. Don't have the basic exactly. In a lot of sports, they don't have the basic fundamental. But he said he couldn't understand why his lip was getting busted. And Emmanuel Stewart, one of the things that he addressed very quickly was he told him he wasn't holding his gloves up in the proper area enough time, and that was an obvious opening for opponents, and that's why they kept taking advantage of it and busting his lip. And then he had him move his, how he held his hands to defend that, and it quit happening. And it's like, again, the only way to get hurt is for someone to hit you in the damn jaw, or or the nose, or in the body. So you have to defend that. And like I said, to see guys standing out there too close to people with your hands down, I get it. If you get outside or you have good footwork, and you know when you want to work and when you want to take a break, and you adjust your range accordingly, then you can get away with lowering your hands. But to know when that lack of head movement, might be worse than the hands being down, honestly. Like I said, it was glaring last night. I just saw some of the pictures. I was on Tom Hogan's Instagram page looking at some of the photos that he took last night. He got caught with some good shots. He really did. And I don't know what the hell was going on with Luke Campbell's effort and trying to actually win the fight versus just being there. But I definitely put Ryan Garcia a level below the other guys there. Now, Devin Haney can box his ass off, but we definitely wanted to have some questions about what Haney's what his power is about, and once you go up against the top guys whether it be at lightweight or super lightweight. Eventually, if guys have no respect for your power, they're going to make adjustments and fight you differently versus letting you outbox them all night. It's going to be a guy that turns it into a fight with you, and when that happens, what can Haney do if he can't, if his power doesn't get the respect of some of these guys? So, like I said, all of these guys have different strengths and weaknesses. Sometimes fighters get moved so that those strengths and weaknesses can be exploited or avoid them being exposed. But eventually, like Gary Smith just said, all of these guys are coming into a situation where they eventually have to start fighting one another. That's the only door to go through, is to face one of these other guys. And then us as fans, we get to see, what these strengths and weaknesses, how they really play out. But that's that. Anyway, not a bad first event of the year. 2021 has to be the exposure year, time to see who in all the boxing. Yeah, I agree. And that's what I was getting ready to say as I get ready to get on off of here. It's the first card of 2021. I don't think we saw a guy who deserves to have a crown put on his head with the whole after, the post-fight stuff. I would have kept the crown in the bag. I don't think that really was a coming out party. I don't really think we saw like a new power in the division. I have the same questions today that I had yesterday about Garcia, at least against the other world-class guys at lightweight. That did nothing for me in terms of his chance of taking over the division. But, you can move forward. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Have a great day. I got to get ready to get on off here, see what's going on. I got a very important NFL game later on tonight with the Washington football team needing to get this victory and make it to the playoffs and whatnot. So I'm about to go check out what's the latest and greatest on that. Again, it's 2021, first event behind us. A couple of fights coming up, over the next few weeks with boxing trying to try. It is 3 or 4 world title fights out there. Maybe they don't move the needle for you. Maybe they do. Some of these guys, a couple of them, didn't get a fight in last year or didn't get a fight in during the when boxing resumed. Starting in June a lot. Some guys who fought in January or early February, and then they were done for the rest of the year. So you have some of those guys coming back, like a JoJo Diaz. So we'll see. But it's good to see it kick off with something with the fighter who who's creating a lot of buzz in Ryan Garcia, and we see what happens next. Anyway, my name is Wood. Bite Down Boxing. Don't let them count you out. Pay me no mind. Sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Peace.